Marking the last one in the overly long movie title club for a while, we have Tetsuro Amino on directing duties, while Toshimichi Okawa is writing once again. Misato Tanaka voices our leading lady Drew this time round. The ending theme is Nocturne. Lupin's in the Arabian desert on the hunt for a supposed magic lamp for Fujiko. He gets tossed around in a sandstorm, but rather luckily emerges right where he needs to be. Zenigata also happens to be there, meeting with Dr. Jordan in order to warn about Lupin. Mistaking him for a patient, Jordan screws around with Zenigata, diagnosing him with stress. Zenigata confirms this, saying that Lupin's on his way to steal the lamp. Jordan's already aware of this, or rather Lupin, though there's a police force waiting for him outside. Zenigata's pinned down in his chair. He's able to escape, having taken some lessons in fake limb use from Lupin over the years. They both head down a vent, though Zenigata falls a bit too far. A disguised Lupin lands at the lamp's location and directs the police elsewhere. Zenigata climbs back using his cuffs on Lupin. As a fight over the lamp, Lupin sets the returning force on Zenigata by pointing out his lack of shoes. Lupin escapes through a window by balloon, leaving behind some knockout gas. Too bad for him, Zenigata's waiting on a higher floor with a dart. For once, Zenigata's keeping up with Lupin at every step. His persistence forces Lupin back into the building. Lupin tries escaping through an elevator, but it's another trap. He turns it around by revealing it's capable of flight. Zenigata gets aboard, but his extra weight causes it to go off course. He falls into a jungle intact, but takes a blow to the head for his trouble. Lupin lands on the edge of the melee, and contacts Jigen to come and retrieve him. While he waits, he decides to do what you normally do with a magic lamp, even if you suspect it's a fake. Surprisingly, it works, summoning a woman calling herself the Fairy of the Lamp. He's granted a wish, but it comes at the cost of half his life as something fires from the lamp itself into the back of Lupin's head. He keeps it to a simple kiss, but as he moves in, he suddenly flashes right into the middle of traffic. As he dodges cars, Jigen's on the phone asking about a woman. Fujiko's also on the road, knocking him over and claiming he betrayed her. A woman watches as Lupin's carried off to a hospital. By coincidence, Zenigata's also at the same hospital, albeit amnesiac thanks to the blow to the head. Interpol agents theorise if he's the latest victim of a case of high-profile people going missing and turning up with a case of explosive amnesia, but the doctor suspects it's just a blow to the head. Lupin initially panics at the sight of Zenigata, but Zenigata has no idea who he is at this point. Fujiko poses as one of the staff, demanding the lamp and also claiming he was working with another woman. Lupin's still confused and decides to just run for now. He realises he's in Singapore, but has no time to reflect as he's attacked by a man in a tank. Forcing the vehicle Lupin's riding on to stop, another man tells him he should have handed the lamp over to him as he opens fire with the main artillery. Thankfully, Jigen's caught up to him by this point, and their car's smaller size allows them to hide. Taking some downtime, Jigen tells Lupin he's being pursued by a soldier for hire known as Colonel Garlic, having run afoul of him during the night. They met in Phuket at around 10 PM and headed to a hotel in Singapore where Fujiko was staying. She wasn't there, but Garlic was, demanding the lamp. They split up when Lupin spotted Fujiko and dropped down to her, and the next time they were in contact was just before 7 AM, where Lupin starts talking about a woman only for the skip to kick in. Lupin realises the meaning behind the fairy's claim of half his life for a wish, seeing as he lost his memory of 7 PM to 7 AM. As they discuss the fairy's effect on Lupin and possible connection to the missing celebrities, Garlic appears on TV with a captive Fujiko. Lupin's instructed to board a train, which he's fully aware is a trap, but he needs answers. As he heads to the designated car, he asks if the woman, who's been following him for some time, wants to join him. She asks if he remembers her, but he clearly doesn't, falling for a fake name of Mary Ann. Giving a real name, Drew, she then asks Lupin to help her. Being Lupin, he vows to, but they're interrupted by another attack from Garlic, who separated their car from the rest of the train. Fujiko is of course working with Garlic, and demands they turn over the lamp. Lupin tosses her a case, but it's a gas-filled decoy. Goemon's caught up with them and cuts the side of the train car containing Garlic's men. Jigen also arrives, knocking Garlic's main tank into the water. Approaching Drew, her hair's revealed to be a wig, and Lupin realises she's the fairy of the lamp. Garlic escapes as his tank is capable of water travel, and Goemon cuts up the rest of the train car, as it'd be rude to obstruct the rails. Lupin catches up to Drew, who tried to run off, hoping she'll answer his questions. While she's not able to give a reason for following him, she is able to reveal the lamp was a creation of a Dr. Eichmann. LAMP, an acronym for Laser Automatic Memory Program, is a device designed to store and manipulate memories. And the thing that hit Lupin was a microchip that was set to erase Lupin's memories every 12 hours. By this point, Garlic's back on the trail, so they escape to a passing train. Drew reveals she took the lamp from Lupin and Fujiko under Eichmann's orders the previous night. Lupin realises Drew also had her own memories manipulated. Fujiko learns of its nature from Garlic, who wants to use it to control the world. Learning of Lupin's location, Garlic orders his attack helicopter to disable him non-lethally. Jigen and Goemon catch up again and provide backup. With Garlic's forces retreating for the moment, Drew tells Lupin more about herself, namely that she and her brother Adam grew up in a war zone. Coming to work for Eichmann, they hope to research a method of preventing war using neuroscience. As time passed, Eichmann's experiments became more unethical, leading to Drew confronting him. It seemingly ended badly, but Drew had a similar flash to Lupin, waking up 3 years later and learning that while Eichmann was seemingly no worse for wear, Adam was missing. The lamp won't help restore our memories, but there is a main computer that's capable of doing so. Garlic's forces continue to pursue and cause everyone to scatter. Lupin tells Drew to go on ahead while he stops up the tank's exhaust with bananas. Jigen manages to bait the helicopter into shooting a chimney, causing it to collapse on top of it. As a bonus, Jigen gets himself an anti-tank rifle, even at the cost of a last-ditch attack. Zenigata's also run out of the hospital, still in an amnesiac daze. Goemon, who's in pursuit of Drew, doesn't realise, and slices up his outfit to distract him. As he jumps across to Drew, he gets caught up in a submarine attack that fires lamp chips at him. While he tries to deflect them, it's in vain as they manage to capture him. Lupin catches up to Drew, who's scared she might learn she killed someone in her missing memories. Time's also running out before Lupin's next memory wipe, so Lupin writes down stuff he feels will be important for the next day. He wakes up in a hotel room, more angered that he can't remember if anything happened between him and Drew than the fact the body writing's gone. Once more, Garlic and Fujiko make an attack. Meanwhile, Jigen's arm was injured thanks to the attack the previous night. Interpol also had no luck restoring Zenigata's memory, as he ran off again. Lupin and Drew navigate the sewers, realising that in Garlic's possession the lamp could help create a perfect soldier without any fear or empathy. Jigen contacts Lupin, informing him Goemon's gone missing. Unfortunately, Lupin's forced to hang up as Drew's found his gun. As Lupin tries to talk her down, he receives another call, this time from Goemon. It's meant as a distraction as he attacks Lupin from behind. Fujiko and Garlic arrive at Eichmann's base. True to form, Fujiko betrays Garlic, trading up for Eichmann instead. Worse for Garlic, his forces have had their memories manipulated so they're mindless soldiers. Lupin's been taken captive by Eichmann, who tells him Goemon's impure thoughts have been erased, something Jigen joked would improve his fighting ability earlier in the movie. Dru's standing with Eichmann, but reacts when Lupin asks if she has her memories back yet. Eichmann says it's better she doesn't, as she stole the lamp back then, though Lupin's more focused on trying to escape. Too bad for him, Goemon swiped all his shoe gadgets. Eichmann explains that his plan is to erase all war by wiping all evil thoughts. Lupin's escaped his ropes by now, but he's still tethered to his post. The submarine appears filled with soldiers, Lupin noting the hypocrisy of Eichmann keeping an army for his own purposes. Lupin appeals to Dru to think back to the previous night and his vow of trust. She throws the gun to Lupin and allows him to shoot himself free. By this point, Jigen's caught up, making use of his new gun. Eichmann's revealed to be a holographic projection, actually operating from inside the submarine. It's also revealed that while Lupin washed the notes off his body to keep Eichmann from learning too much, he did find one in his underwear that said to trust Dru no matter what. 7 PM's approaching once more, but Dru recalls that the experiments using the lamp chips resulted in a complete memory wipe after the 3rd day. With time against them, they head to Eichmann's main base on Sultan Island. Fujiko's shown around the island. Once a prison complex, but thanks to Eichmann's research, every inmate is docile. Lupin reaches the island with less than an hour left. There may not be any prisoners to worry about, but Garlic's former army is still a threat. Dru stays in the boat while Lupin and Jigen fight, but it goes over a cliff. She's safe and manages to drive off, but Lupin's caught. Eichmann spots Dru entering a cave over the security feed. Growing anxious, it'll jog her memory. He runs to her as Lupin's brought to him. Serves Lupin well, as he was pulling a bait and switch on disguises. Goemon attacks, but has to deal with Jigen. Jigen's method involves distracting with a lighter gun and hitting him over the head with it, indicating Goemon needs his impure thoughts to fight better. Lupin spots Dru and hands Goemon off to Jigen, saying to restore his memories first. Fujiko's been trapped in a room and risks becoming an experiment herself. Dru discovers a gravestone in the cave, and suspects that their argument led to Eichmann's death, realising that the Eichmann she was working with is actually Adam. As Lupin approaches, Adam tells Dru she didn't kill Eichmann, as he died of natural causes, and also that he's taken Eichmann's memories into his own mind. With Goemon's mind restored, he and Jigen head out to join the fight. Garlic also attacks Fujiko's room, and dangles her from his helicopter as he launches a rampage to hunt for Eichmann. Goemon moves to cut her down, but only achieves slicing up her clothes. His second attempt is more successful at least. Garlic's attention turns to Lupin and Dru, firing at a bridge they're crossing. Lupin swings across to Dru, but his time's running short. They make it across to the computer room thanks to grappling on Garlic's helicopter. Lupin decides Dru should go first, but she's hesitant, fearing she'll lose her memories of her time with Lupin. Lupin assures her that memories are never truly lost, and she kisses him before stepping back to the machine. Unfortunately, while he finishes working on Dru, the power cuts out before he can start on his own memories thanks to Garlic's rampage. He spots a button to activate a backup generator, managing to activate the machine with only seconds to spare. Garlic grows confused when he sees Adam. Goemon takes the chance to slice his helicopter apart. It crashes into the base and causes it to go up in smoke. Jigen and Fujiko encounter each other as he searches for Lupin. Lupin's floating in the sea, thinking back to his wish from the fairy. Tossing the lamp, he realises the wish did indeed get granted. Dru's seemingly adjusted back to her life, and while she seemingly doesn't have any memories of Lupin, he shrugs it off as she's just too busy to remember now. Zenigata approaches, still amnesiac and in bad shape, so Lupin offers his jacket. His phone starts ringing, and Zenigata slips on a banana peel as he moves to hand it back. The phone then hits his head, restoring his memories, much to Lupin's chagrin. It's possible that this is just because the last few entries have been pretty low tier, but this movie is probably the best one in a while. The opening's especially strong, with Zenigata pretty much on Lupin's tail in a way not usually seen. Kind of a pity it's so front-loaded, as he's left wandering around in an amnesiac daze for the rest of it. While Garlic may not be the deepest antagonist, he makes up for it in his tenacity. Almost matches Zenigata in how well he's able to track Lupin down, though it's possible Fujiko was also helping out on that front. Speaking of which, interesting angle to make her pretty much an antagonist in this one. While she's ultimately out for herself and the treasure as usual, she's definitely amongst villains for the first time in a while, pretty much working against the others throughout. Makes one question whether or not Goemon slicing her outfit was accidental or not. With her out, Drew steps up as a decently rounded out character. She plays off Lupin pretty well, and has enough of a story to get invested in her as a character. Leaves the audience guessing as to whether or not she's an antagonist throughout, even with Lupin putting his faith in her. The amnesia plot was a nice angle to take, as it was interesting watching Lupin piece things together whenever he had a memory wipe. More so the first time than the second, as the second time was making sense of what happened after writing on himself, but even that kept the audience guessing if anything remained. Eichmann, or Adam, had his moments too. The idea of doing something to prevent war is certainly a question worth asking, as well as if it's worth it if free will is erased. Also the question of how much there was of Eichmann or Adam by that point. Only downside is we don't seem to get an answer to what happened to him once the island blew up. Overall, while not the deepest of stories, a definite step up in quality from the movies we were given the previous couple of years. Next time we enter a crossover as Lupin goes up against Detective Conan. Until then.